Alright guys, so this is my MCU Marvel Legends Heroes display. Um, I want to do this video for a while now, and here we go. So first we're going to start with this area right here, and then we're going to go down from here, and then we'll come back over here, and then we'll go down to here. Okay, so here we have the OG6 Avengers. Here we have Hulk, the Age of Ultron Hulk in the back right there. Then we have Thor looking really cool. This is the Thor the Dark World suit. I'm pretty sure I love that one. There he has the lightning effect, Mjolnir, and then here he has the axe, both of them. And then I put the Thor Ragnarok Marvel Legend head on him. I really love Thor with the helmet because, you know, it's kind of like the comics. And like he wears a helmet a lot in the comics. And I really love when he does wear it in the MCU. So I put that on him, and I love how like it's blue in Thor Ragnarok. So it kind of looks like, you know, he put like a lightning effect on it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Then here we have Hawkeye in his Hawkeye series suit. I love this suit. It's pretty comic accurate. And then here we have the Endgame Iron Man nanotech suit with the flight effects on his feet, and he's on a stand. Then here we have Black Widow looking pretty cool. And then in the middle we have Captain America. Captain America looking so cool, you know what I'm saying? He's in the middle of the whole collection because, you know, he's the leader. So yeah. Right next to Black Widow, we have a Agents of SHIELD area going on. Here we got Nick Fury, the guy who assembled all the Avengers together. Then we have Happy Hogan. Then we have Happy Hogan's not a part of the Agents of SHIELD, but I just put him there, just why not. Then we have Agent Coulson, Maria Hill, Everett Ross. Then we have Black Panther T'Challa. Then here we have Doctor Strange. And then we also have Talos right there, because, you know, he worked with SHIELD. He worked with SHIELD. If you watch Secret Invasion, you know that like he actually helped SHIELD. Like the Skrulls helped SHIELD get their information. So then right over here, we have a Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, looking pretty cool. She's in her the end of WandaVision suit. I love that suit. Then here we have Vision, looking pretty cool. And then here we have Ant-Man, Scott Lang, right next to Hope Van Dyne. And then we'll get to the rest of this later. Then here we have Captain Marvel, looking pretty cool. And then here we have Sam Wilson's Captain America / Falcon. Sam Wilson's Falcon / Captain America, because, you know, he was Falcon before, but now he's the new Captain America. You know what I'm saying? So we have both of the Captain Americas in the middle. Then here we have War Machine in his best suit in the MCU, because, you know, that's the Civil War suit. That was War Machine's best suit. I love this one. I showed Doctor Strange. Yeah, I showed Doctor Strange, Black Panther T'Challa, and then here we have Spider-Man looking pretty cool. I actually kit bashed the Iron Spider Marvel Legend head. I took that head and I put it on this Homecoming suit body because I didn't really like the head that came with the Homecoming suit, but this looks much better. But yeah, so let's go down to the list. Let's go down over here, and then, like I said, we'll come back over here. So yeah, I set all the characters here, and yeah. So here is Monica Rambeau looking pretty cool with their new suit from the Marvels, and then there we have Pepper Potts looking pretty cool. And then here we have Jane Foster's Thor from Thor Love and Thunder. And then there we have Wong. And then here we have Captain Carter. Then here we have Goliath. He's also kind of like part of the SHIELD area, because if I'm not mistaken, he actually worked with Hank Pym, like with the Ant-Man stuff with SHIELD. So yeah, and if you watch What If, he's actually like kind of tied to SHIELD. So yeah. Then here we have Shang-Chi looking pretty cool. There we have She-Hulk. And then there we have Shuri's Black Panther. And then there we have Namor. And then here we have the like the Thunderbolts / the New Avengers. So here we have Yelena Belova. Then there we have Ghost, Bucky Barnes, and then there we have Sentry. For the Bucky Barnes, I actually added this like gun holster type thing that looks pretty cool. But yeah, there's Sentry, and then there's Red Guardian, then there's Melina, and then there's John Walker, the new John Walker figure from the Thunderbolts 2-pack waves. It was her and him, and then him and him. So yeah, and then there's Walking Torres, the new Falcon, looking pretty cool. And then here is the Defenders. So guys, in case you guys didn't know, like this is like of course you guys know, but the Avengers. This is the Avengers, and then here is more Avengers / the new Avengers. Then here is the Defenders. Here you have Luke Cage. Then you have Jessica Jones, Danny Rand, Iron Fist. Then you have Elektra. Then you have Colleen Wing. And then you have Daredevil himself. And then you have Stick, the guy who trained Daredevil and Elektra. And then you have Claire Temple in the background right there. And then here we have the Punisher. So guys, I actually I already ordered the new Daredevil Born Again updated versions of these two. So I'm waiting on those to come so then I can add them to the display. So the next time you see my collection, you'll see the Daredevil Born Again, his new suit, and his updated version as well. So yeah, I can't wait to add those. And then here we have Hank Pym's Ant-Man. Because you know that's Scott Lang's Ant-Man, and then that's Hank Pym's Ant-Man. And then yeah, so here we get on to kind of like the Midnight Sun / supernatural side of the Marvel Universe. So here we have Khonshu looking pretty cool. Then we have Mr. Knight and Moon Knight. I know technically these two are the same character, but I put them both because, you know, like this is Stephen Grant. This Stephen Grant is like Mark Spector. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Then here I have Black Cat. This is actually the PlayStation figure, the PS PlayStation game figure, but I put her here because like the way it looks like a movie figure. It looks like an MCU figure. So I threw her in there until hopefully the MCU has a Black Cat and then they make a figure of that. So that'd be pretty cool. Then there is Mordo. The reason why I put him there is because I know some people like they're gonna say that he's a bad guy, he's a villain, but in the first Doctor Strange movie, he was actually a good guy for the most part until the end where he found out the truth, and then he became a bad guy. But yeah, and then in Multiverse of Madness, he was like with the Illuminati with Professor X, Mr. Fantastic, and all of them. You know, he was part of their team. So if he was a bad guy, then Professor X would have read his mind, and like, you know what I'm saying. So he was a good guy in that universe as well. So he was a good guy in that universe. So I added him to the collection. So then here is Wesley Snipes' Blade, looking pretty cool. Then you have the Whistler from the Blade movie. Sorry, let me take off this custom character. Forgot to do that. Okay, but yeah, there's Wesley Snipes' Blade, and then there's Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider, looking pretty cool. I put like a necklace chain effect on him, and yeah, and then here is the caretaker from the Ghost Rider movie, I'm pretty sure he's from Ghost Rider Part 2, Spirit of Vengeance, I think. And then here is Tom Hardy's Venom, looking pretty cool. And then there's Man-Thing from Werewolf by Night. And then here on the top, I just threw in Harry Osborn, New Goblin. I put him in the Heroes collection because I love his redemption in Spider-Man 3 at the end of the movie where he came to help Pete. He came to save Peter and team up with him to take on Venom and Sandman. So I love that. So that's why he's there. So then now we get on to the space area, kind of. So like here we got like the Asgardians, and then we have the Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, so here we have Valkyrie. Then we have Korg in the background, looking pretty cool. And then we have Loki. We have Heimdall and Lady Sif. And then we have Odin in the background right there. And then I threw in Sylvie because, you know, technically like she's a Loki from another universe, so she's also Asgardian. And then I threw in Mobius right next. I'm doing Mobius right next to them, because why not? You know, he like, you know, because you know he's friends with best friends with Loki. You know what I'm saying, so put them together. So yeah, looking pretty cool. I also put the green effect on Loki as well. Sorry if these figures are a little dusty. I haven't dusted them off in quite a bit. But yeah, there's Heimdall, Lady Sif, Loki, Odin, and here we get on to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, so here we have Mantis, Nebula, Yondu, and Kraglin. I love the whistle arrow effect because look, so they both come with it, right? But if you look at it, it's kind of like it's swerving around, like kind of like how it moves in the movie. Like the red effect is like swerving, and it's kind of like going this way, but then it's coming back, and then it's coming this way. So it just looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, there's Yondu, Kraglin, then there's Gamora right next to her sister Nebula, and then there's Cosmo the dog, and then there's Star-Lord, Peter Quill, and then there's Adult Groot, and then there's Teenage Groot from Infinity War and Thor: Love and Thunder. You guys are probably wondering, why do I have two Groots? So in case you did not know, this Groot, the original Groot, he was, so these two are two different characters. They both are Groot, but they're two different characters. This was the original Groot, Adult Groot, in the first Guardians movie, but he died. So the piece of him that Rocket grew to become him, that's technically his son. So they're two different characters. So that's why I have them both in the display. So yeah, there's Teenage Groot looking pretty cool with his effects, and there's Groot in the background. I love that one. That's my favorite look of Groot. So yeah. And then there's Howard the Duck in the background. That's a what if figure. I'm still debating on even keeping him in the collection or just throwing him in with the comic display. So yeah. Then there's Rocket Raccoon, and then there's Drax looking pretty cool, and then there's Adam Warlock, and then there's Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four 2, the movie. And then here we have like a little Talo area, like the place from Shang-Chi. You know, you have Zizai, and then here you have Morris, I think that's his name, the creature that was locked up with Trevor Slattery and Shang-Chi. And then here we have the dragon from Shang-Chi looking pretty cool. And then here we have Katie, Awkwafina's character in the MCU, looking pretty cool. So yeah, there's that area of the display. Now let's go back over here, and now let's get to this area. All right, so as you can see here, like I said before, this is the Avengers, but then right here you have more Avengers / the new Avengers, because you know, if you watch Thunderbolt, new Avengers, like you have more Avengers, and then you have more Avengers / the new Avengers. So you can consider them all new Avengers / more Avengers, like all of them, yeah. But then you go over here and it's the Young Avengers. So I really love it because this is the my Young Avengers area right here. Because the reason why like the Young Avengers is on this side is because like the characters over here are the characters that have their mantles carried on through the Young Avengers, like Hulk, Scar from She-Hulk, Ant-Man, Cassie, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Captain Marvel, Kamala, you know what I'm saying? It just goes on and on and on. So yeah. So finally, let's get to the figure. So here we have Ironheart looking pretty cool in her suit from Wakanda Forever. Looking pretty cool. Then here we have Cassie Lang right next to her father and Hope. And then we have the character from Multiverse of Madness. He's not really a character like for the Young Avengers, but I just put him here. To kind of like have like a big character like right behind them. So yeah. Then there's White Vision, who also we don't know if would be a part of the Young Avengers. I just put in there as well. And then here is this is actually the 3 3/4 inch Hulk from Thor Ragnarok, but I threw him in here because, you know, Scar from the comics is like a Hulk that carries a sword and like has like armor and stuff. So I did that. But, you know, like his Hulk son showed up in the MCU, so like I'm sure in the future he's gonna be wearing something like this, and he's also from Scar, so yeah, we know how that goes, like from Thor Ragnarok. Then here we have Kate Bishop looking pretty cool with an arrow just like Hawkeye. And then there we have Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. Then we have America Chavez. Then we have Miles Morales, Spider-Man. And then I threw in Jimmy Woo, Agent Jimmy Woo, and then I threw in Louise. I'm still like adding civilian characters is still like a hesitation of mine, because I want this whole thing to look like the Avengers Endgame battle. Like all these heroes are uniting to save the universe. You feel me? Like just like Endgame, but like throwing in characters like civilian characters like them, and then Happy Hogan over there, and then Claire Temple over there. It does kind of feel like yeah, but I don't like having figures just laying around like this. So I throw them in there to, you know, just for now until until they make new characters for me to add, and then it gets overpowered, then I have to take them out. You feel me? So yeah, that's why I have them. But then in the background right there behind them, this is actually a kit bash that I made to look like Isaiah Bradley's Captain America. Because I was so bitter that we didn't get to see a suit in Captain America Brave New World. And that because if you look at the behind the scenes, he actually has a suit, and he helps Sam Wilson fight, and it's pretty cool. And yeah, we didn't get that, and apparently there's supposed to be a figure for that until they reshot the movie. I guess Hasbro just didn't release those figures. So so I got my Gamerverse Captain America, and then I put a G.I. Joe head on there, and then it looks like Isaiah Bradley, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's in the background, kind of like he would be like the mentor. Like he wouldn't really be the mentor or anything like that, but like kind of like the mentor kind of role, because, you know, his grandson or son will be Patriot in the MCU, the guy who showed up in Falcon Winter Soldier. So yeah, so here is the X-Men. No, here's the X-Men. So let's go. So I love this area because, you know, Avengers Doomsday, bro. Like a lot of these characters, like a lot of the characters over there, some of the characters here, and majority of the characters here are gonna show up in Avengers Doomsday. So yeah, so there's Ian McKellen's Magneto. He's gonna show up in Avengers Doomsday. Patrick Stewart's Professor X. He's gonna show up in Avengers Doomsday. There's Rebecca Romaine's Mystique. She's gonna be in Avengers Doomsday. James Marsden Cyclops. He's gonna be in Avengers Doomsday. Kelsey Grammer's Beast. He's gonna be in Avengers Doomsday as well, because, you know, we saw him at the end of the Marvels. And then here we have Jean. I forgot the actress's name, but I hope she's also in Avengers Doomsday. And then here we have Katie Pryde. Then here we have Iceman, looking pretty cool. I hope he's also in Avengers Doomsday. This was actually like one of my most expensive figures ever. This, the Iron Fist over there, and the Calling Wing, and maybe the Whistler from the Blade movie. But yeah, those are my most like rarest figures of the collection. But yeah, there's Iceman. Then there's Colossus from the Deadpool movies. Then here is Wolverine, looking pretty cool from Deadpool Wolverine, like the comic accurate suit. I freaking love it. And then there's Nightcrawler. He's also in Avengers Doomsday. I hope he's in Avengers Doomsday with him, but we'll get to that. There's Teenage Warhead from Deadpool, from the Deadpool movies as well. And then there's Cable, Josh Brolin's Cable. And there's Halle Berry's Storm. I hope she's also in Avengers Doomsday. But yeah, then here's Cable. Then there's Domino, and then there's Deadpool. So yeah, so like this is like the X-Men area in the MCU display, but like these three, like they're part of the X-Men display, but they're also kind of in their own team, because, you know, like it's kind of like the Deadpool Part 2 X-Force, you know, because them three teamed up, you know, with him and her But yeah, it's pretty cool. And then here we get onto the Fantastic Four. So there's Human Torch slash Johnny. I actually took like Heat Blast from Ben 10, that toy effect, and I put it on him, looking pretty cool. And then here we have Ben Grimm the Thing. We have Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. Then we have Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic, looking pretty cool. Reed Richards. All 4 of them are in Avengers Doomsday. That's pretty cool. And then here we have our little Wakandan area, just like we have an Asgardian area over there, an Agents of SHIELD area. We have an Wakandan area. So here we have M'Baku. He's in Avengers Doomsday. Then we have Okoye, and then we have King T'Chaka, T'Challa's father, and Shuri's father too. And then there's Nakia, and in her underwater suit. Actually, I kept the mask on her because it kind of felt like a superhero suit. So yeah. And then there's the Dora Milaje around them, looking pretty cool. I got the idea to army build them from the Essos Hunters. So yeah. Then I threw in a Miguel O'Hara. He's not an MCU figure or a movie figure as well, but I threw him in a live action figure. But I threw him in there because the figure does look like a live action figure, and it's like, why not? I got the figure. Why not throw him in there for now until I gotta take him out? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Then here is the Eternals. So there's Icarus, looking pretty cool. There's Kingo, Ajax, Droog, Gilgamesh, Sprite, Cersei, Phastos, and then Makari. I do have Athena, but she's with my grandma right now, so yeah. And then here is kind of like the this was meant to represent like the Iron Man Part 3, when Iron Man got all of his suits to help him. So yeah, that's the inspiration I got from for this area. So I did have a bunch of Iron Man armors around there, but I didn't like it, so I took them down. And I do plan on taking this down, once I have another team to add here, or more characters to add here. I was thinking of adding the Silver Surfer, because she at the end she did help defeat Galactus, but I don't know. I don't know. It's okay. But yeah. So that's just do for now until yeah. But yeah, guys. I hope you guys like my collection. I love it. I'm a big collector for the MCU figures. I love it. I love the MCU. So I mainly collect the MCU figures, but I do also collect comic figures. So stay tuned for my next videos. I'm gonna be doing the villains, the MCU villains version. There's a sneak peek, and then I'm gonna do the comic display, and then I might even do the villains comic display, Marvel comic display. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys liked the video. Hope you guys liked the collection. Comment down below what you guys think. And yeah, appreciate it, guys. And please like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll update you guys on when I do add the Daredevil Born Again figures of Daredevil and Punisher. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool video to make. So yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Please like and subscribe. Please comment down below. And until next time, peace and take care.